Barrett was ducking me.
Because?
He knows. He knows. West Virginia, Kansas State. He knows. I know he's a Kansas State guy.
You know I didn't want to. You know I started to just say no. I'm not even going to take this interview.
I said you were ducking me, man. You were ducking me.
Yeah. We should have pulled it out at the end, but hey, you guys have got a good team, man.
I saw you. Where were you in Wisconsin this weekend?
Yeah, I was in Wisconsin. I had Iowa, Wisconsin. Can you believe that they had they put up 55 against Ohio State, and then turn around they have like 70 yards total offense against Wisconsin's defense.
Yeah.
Game,
I know that Wisconsin team. Everybody's talking about whether or not they should be in the top 4. They're undefeated. You saw them up close. What do you think? Their
defense is much to be reckoned with. Offensively, that's their only flaw. All they can do is run the ball. In fact, a local kid from Jersey is running the rock for them, just like Clement, But as far as everything else, they're really average at best. But their defense is real, fundamentally sound, causes turnovers, everything you want from a defense. But, I think they belong up there, top 4. I think they belong.
All right. We'll see the rankings come out, tomorrow night, and then that reaction show they have here on 97.3 ESPN at 7. We got a lot to dive into today. I know the Eagles had the bye week here, but obviously I want to get your take on these 4 teams: Minnesota, New Orleans, the Rams, and then Seattle. Which of those 4 do you buy into the most?
I really buy into the Saints. I mean, Ingram, Kamara, run the rock and establish the run, and that's what they do. Drew Brees only had 180 yards his last game because they didn't need him to run the ball. I mean, they need him to throw the ball because they were running the ball very, very well. So they're the perfect balance of what you want in an offense. Your quarterback doesn't have to, but he can lead you. When you have a running game that runs consistently and put up the number of yards that they had, they're just building their defense and their offense to go into the playoffs. So their defense is playing lights out also. This is a team that the Eagles are going to have to face in the playoffs, to make it to the Super Bowl.
You got that Rams team, too, that the Eagles are going to play in L.A. in a couple of weeks. I mean, we're not, previewing or breaking down that game, but that game there becomes a lot more interesting. Home field is imperative. That's what really you're playing for these final 7 weeks.
Absolutely. Though they're 8-1, there's a lot that can be said about if you got to go out to L.A. or if you got to go to Seattle, if you got to go to New Orleans and play them in their place. Why not have the creature comforts of being at home, playing in front of your fans, of which you know how our fans are, how rowdy they can get, how much they can go out and intimidate the players from another team. You want that home feeling. You want that home cooking. You want to make sure that you're in the playoffs and you're not uprooting yourself to go anywhere except for the Super Bowl. They have this opportunity. They keep doing what they're doing, staying consistent, winning, and don't worry about this have them coming out with a lax attitude. This is Dallas week. This is the best way to go and leave out of a bye going into your first game after the bye against a major competitor, a team in which there's so much bad blood with the Dallas Cowgirls. You really want to go out there and fight these guys, and that's the best part of them going out of a bye, playing against this Dallas team.
I heard you say Dallas Cowgirls. A lot of talk today, Barrett, about the fact that the Cowboys are missing the same pieces or some of the same pieces the Eagles are missing, and yet there's a lot more complaining, it seems, from the Dallas fans than there were from the Eagles fans going into it.
Well, right. I mean, of course, you're going to hear that from Dallas fans. And you know what? And everybody's talking about, I want to play against Zeke because, they're going to say that they weren't full strength. I don't care if they're full strength or not. Get him out of there. We don't want him in there. If you look at Alvin Morrow played very well for those guys yesterday. I think that he can still go out there and play well if they start running the rock with him. He's consistently had he was averaging 4 yards a carry. I mean, that's pretty good, considering the fact that they don't have their starting left tackle. They can still have the ability to run the ball and run the ball consistently. It'll be the second game that they won't have, Ezekiel Elliott. They can still go out there and establish a run against this team. They're going to have to come with their hard hats and ready to play against this Dallas team because right now they're wounded. They're licking their wounds, and they're ready to come back with a vengeance. So we can't take this team lightly.
When you were a player, did you have the bye week? How did you handle the bye week, and how do you think the Eagles handled the bye? I mean, I saw the picture of Carson Wentz where he said, I still got my eyes downfield, but, of course, he was hunting. That was his way to sort of de-stress a little bit. How do you think these guys are in a mindset coming back from the bye week? Did they do all the right things?
Well, of course they're going to do all the right things because, they really believe in their head coach, and he's going to get those guys straight. He's been a part of a team that's had a lot of success coming off a bye week. He learned from one of the best coming out of a bye week in Andy Reid. I think that they're going to be okay. It's not going to be like the mini-bye that they had going against that Washington team where the first half they took them lightly. They're going to go in with a vengeance against this Dallas team. They owe them something. They want to go in and make sure that they leave no type of will left in them to come back in the second game and go, come back here to play. I think that this team is ready to play. They're going to be okay, and they're not going to have a lull going into this Dallas week.
Hey, in your opinion, what's Darby coming back mean to the defense?
Well, it puts you in a position where you can line up your best receiver against our fastest DB. That's the only thing it really matters. Now we can have the opportunity to single him up and then play zone around or match him up against their best wide receiver. That's all it comes to, But these guys that have been playing, they've done a great job, a phenomenal job, and they won't be out of the loop. I can see Rasul Douglas, having less reps, but they're still going to keep him in the fold, make sure he gets the necessary reps because they're going to need him going down the line. I like the fact that now they're getting healthier. Timmy Jernigan's, his injuries a lot healthier than it was a week ago. They're just coming out, and they're going to be an optimal force going into this game and ready to roll.
Yeah, you got obviously a very tough stretch coming up with this Dallas game, and then you got the Bears game in there, and then the 2 road games on the West Coast back-to-back there, Seattle and the Rams before you play the Giants. And you take a look at the NFC as a whole. This NFC, man, is going to be a battlefield. The 6 teams that get into the playoffs, Barrett, all 6 of them are going to have a legitimate claim to say we can make a run to the Super Bowl.
No, they're no joke. They're no joke at all. In fact, just like I said, we talked about the Saints. How about we talk about Minnesota Vikings? They're a team that's built right also. Murray is found his niche as far as running the rock with him. Diggs and Thielen are 2 really, really good receivers. They have all the makings of being a really good team going down the stretch. And plus their defense. Griffin is one of the best pass rushers in the league. The other Kendrick is playing well there. All those guys. I think that and Barr, all their linebackers are really, really good. They have 2 real quality safeties. This team, facing them in a playoff, is going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. They can run the ball and play good defense. That's what's keeping the Eagles in this thing. They're running the ball and playing good defense. And that's what you want in the playoffs.
And Barrett, the Vikings, they had that wholesale changes on their offensive line. We saw that when they opened up against the Saints. And obviously they're a different team from that week to now, but that's how they're able to get by, right?
Exactly. They're running the ball well. You put guys in a position where they're not pass blocking and they're not, setting back all the time, but now you're coming off and hitting somebody in the face. It just gives you a totally different mindset, and it keeps the defense off their toes. That's what offensive lineman, that's what you want to do. You want to initiate contact as opposed to retreating and blocking a guy backwards. It's tougher, but, I enjoyed running the rock more so than passing it.
Hey, Barrett, Mike and I talked about this. The Eagles and their next stretch that they have now here post-bye, I maintain that they want to get to that number 1 seed in the playoffs as fast as possible and rest guys. His take is, no, if you rest guys, then you come out in that playoff game rusty. Players are always, you played, you're always going to want to get to that record as fast as possible and rest, right?
Yeah, well, you can't necessarily rest. This team is too young to necessarily rest. I can remember we had the year we were supposed to be an all Pennsylvania Super Bowl with the Eagles and the Steelers. We came out, we rested guys, and it didn't work for us because we didn't get waxed by the potential, the eventual Super Bowl champion Patriots. So, I'm out of the mindset that I really want to rest guys. I want the guys to go out there firing off the ball and kind of, in the same mindset they were when they were trying to make it to that point. So I don't like the resting thing. These guys don't want to rest for real. They want to go out there and play. So I think I got to go with Mike this time, Pete.
Okay, that's good. I'm curious to see which way you went because those last 2 games, if they were to somehow win in Seattle, beat the Rams, beat the Giants, they could get in a situation where they look at those last 2 weeks against Oakland and Dallas and are able to maybe take their foot off the gas. So I'm curious to hear it from you of whether you think the team is stronger when they go into the playoffs off rest or if they're stronger when they go in having, played in that Week 17 game.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Cowher, and he said that's one thing he regretted that year, that he rested guys going into that Buffalo game, and it totally backfired against us. We beat Buffalo still, but it's still guys weren't up to par as far as because that means you have 3 weeks off. If you rest 2 weeks, guys 2 weeks, and then you have the bye, that's 3 week period in which you're not going to be hitting anybody, and it kind of worked in reverse for us. It made guys kind of lethargic in how they played because they had been off for 3 weeks. So, it was tough on them.
All right, Barrett's breakdown here on the Sports Bash. On the bye week, the Eagles getting ready for Dallas. It's Dallas week, and, what you see from that team yesterday, you see a team that showing the cracks, just wasn't as good as people thought. The running back means that much. The left tackle means that much. Give us an overview of what you saw from Dallas.
Well, it just goes to show, when you have a Pro Bowl left tackle, if you don't have a backup that can play, that's why Big V has become such a commodity here. They didn't miss a beat with Big V going in there and starting the left tackle. What was his name? Green? Green gave up 5 sacks, 6 sacks in one game. That's ridiculous. And it just goes to show that the Dallas are hard-headed in how they call the game, because you're supposed to send a tight end or send a running back over to help this kid out. And plus, the kid didn't help himself out either, because when they're sliding the line to you got to make sure you capture the defensive end outside and make them go inside of you where your help is with the guards at. And he didn't do that. He was still allowing Griffith to beat him on the outside. That's why he gave up all those sacks. I like the fact that they came down early. They're going to come out with their backs against the wall, ready to fight. And the Eagles must be ready for them to come out there and try to impose their will on them. They have to get them out there early, make them think that there's no way that they can possibly be on the field and compete against them in order for that team to bow out. If not, I really think that running backs are capable of really turning things around for them.
All right, BB, we'll catch up next week. Go Mountaineers.
Thanks. I see. All right, bro. Take it easy. Pete, get him out of there, man. Get him out of there. All right.
I'll push on for
Take
you.
care, pal.